Welcome to the Body of Art Show with your host, professional fine artist and holistic art coach, Catherine Lucas. Join Catherine and her expert guests as they share insights and inspiring stories of transformation that will help you develop self-mastery and truly hone your craft. Now, learn to become the masterpiece that you are with your host, Catherine Lucas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Body of Art Show. I'm your host, Catherine Lucas. Today's episode is about how comparing ourselves to others kills our motivation and creativity. Now, sustaining motivation to create no matter what else is going on in your life is key to being a successful artist. And the one thing that will absolutely kill your motivation is comparing yourself to others. In today's show, you'll find out why this type of comparison erodes inspiration, motivation, and creativity. But first, I want to let you know how much I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy day to be here. I know your time is precious, and I want to give you as much value as I possibly can during our time together so that you leave feeling inspired and empowered. I also appreciate all the wonderful feedback that so many of you have given me about the show. It truly inspires me to be here with you each time and share any experiences, knowledge, or insights that may help you master your passion. I invite you to join me on my Facebook page, Holistic Art Coach Catherine Lucas. On this page, you can ask me questions, share your thoughts, accomplishments you achieved, or even challenges that you're currently facing. I encourage you to post your requests for future topics that you would like to have on the show. Here, I'll post tips, inspirational messages, and answer any questions that you may have. And as always, you can connect with me on my website, bodyofart.net. I put a link to my Facebook page on my website so that it's easy for you to find. You can find more creative inspiration by joining Dave Bice and I on Partnership for the Arts talk show where we talk art. You can find all the episodes at partnershipfortheartsgroup.org. Here you'll find inspiring stories of transformation as well as insights from many other artists including writers, musicians, and many visual artists. Now, before we begin, I'd just like to remind you each time that the Body of Art Show is intended for educational, inspirational, and motivational purposes. All thoughts and opinions expressed in this episode are my own reflections on the topic and don't purport to replace any other viewpoints. So absorb what resonates with you today and just release the rest. You know, one of the things that my clients and students struggle with most is self-worth and motivation. They'll compare themselves with other artists who are further on their path and view themselves as inadequate because they aren't there yet. When this happens, they become paralyzed with self-doubt and resentment, and their creative flow comes to a halt, leaving them unmotivated to create. Now, comparing ourselves to others can be a valuable source of motivation. Maybe someone else has a skill or ability we're striving to develop in ourselves, and seeing how far they have pushed the limits may open more possibilities for us to go further. But if we're not careful, we can find ourselves wading through the treacherous waters of self-doubt, self-devaluation, and even envy, which poisons the soul. In this day and age, comparison is made so much more accessible with social media and the web. With limitless access to other artists and their works, we're bombarded with endless material upon which to compare ourselves. It's like keeping up with the Joneses on steroids. More than ever, it's especially important to be aware of the pitfall of using others as a gauge for our own growth. Now, here's why. Comparing yourself to others is destructive to your sense of self. It generates feelings of self-doubt, inadequacy, discontent, and even hate. This cultivates competitiveness in place of collaboration, isolation in place of connection, and resentment in place of inspiration. All of these negative feelings are the pathway to unhappiness, anxiety, stress, and even depression. In this state, it's impossible to be motivated, inspired, or creative. It compromises our ability to make creative decisions about our own work. Comparing ourselves to others will kill our inspiration and set us up for failure. Comparing yourself to others kills your why. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of what inspired you to create in the first place. When you compare yourself to others, you focus on the other person, their goals, their achievements, and their why. You may resonate with someone else's inspiration for creating, but you'll never really identify with their why or their deepest motivating factor to create something. It's a deeply personal thing. The key to staying motivated to create is to never lose sight of your why. Your why will carry you through life's difficulties and sustain your creative growth. Comparing yourself to others will deplete your mental focus and energy. Every time you compare yourself to another, you place attention on them instead of your own creative endeavors. Paying attention to or focus on something or someone else takes time and effort. The more you focus on someone else, the less time, focus, and mental energy will be left for your own work, and the less motivated you'll be. When you compare yourself to others, you're only wasting your time. Why spend time and energy worrying about what others are doing or have when you could be taking action to improve yourself? You can never have control over another person. All you can do is control yourself. Comparing yourself to others doesn't help you achieve your goals at all. Obsessing about someone else's success, possessions, or life is not only time-consuming, it's also completely ineffective. Being hard on yourself zaps your energy, inspiration, and motivation, compromising your ability to achieve goals. In order to be fulfilled and motivated in your own life and work, you need to devote your time and energy to your own truth and values. When you compare yourself to others, you're only deceiving yourself. Keep in mind what you're comparing against is inaccurate information. What others present to the world is usually an edited version of their reality. You rarely see the struggles or sacrifices someone else has gone through to achieve their goals or accomplishments. This is so true for social media. Here, people tend to post only their positive emotions or achievements and leave out any negative experiences and failures. What's being presented is an incomplete picture. On top of that, we tend to distort the information we do receive, removing us further from the truth about the other person. Remember, when you look at someone else's success, you only see the result and not the effort. You may be looking at years of labor, comparing your beginnings to their end. To achieve the success you desire, you need to walk the path to success. Leaping to the end and making comparisons to those who have arrived will stop you dead in your tracks. In this light, you'll never be motivated to strive for your goals. Finally, comparing yourself to others kills the joy of achievement. There's always joy that comes from your accomplishments, especially when you try something new. But if you initially compare yourself to someone who is already accomplished in what you desire to achieve, then you'll always feel like you're behind and consequently experience no joy from important milestones or achievements you could be making. This will certainly extinguish any motivation you may have. If you find yourself ensnared in the comparison game, remember, you are unique. Comparing yourself to others causes you to compare what you see in others to what you know about yourself. People tend to put up a good front which may not align with what they feel on the inside. You have no idea what's truly going on in their lives. You aren't the person you're comparing yourself to. You have different talents, strengths, and weaknesses. When you compare yourself to others, you strip away the things that make you special and unique, falsely comparing yourself to some idealized, unachievable standard. If it's unachievable, you'll never be motivated to even make a start. Now, as we wrap up today's show, I just want to impart to you that comparing yourself to others rings the death knell for motivation and creativity. Self-doubt and insecurity compromises motivation. All the assumptions we make about our shortcomings when we compare ourselves to others, little by little, will chip away at our self-worth. Remember, our assumptions are grossly distorted because we're not comparing apples to apples. Author Stephen Furtick sums it up best when he says the reason why we struggle with insecurity is that we compare our behind the scenes with everybody else's highlighted reel. Really think about that the next time you find yourself gauging your abilities against someone else's backdrop. Well, I want to thank you all again for listening to the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and would love to hear any comments you have about today's episode. You can do this by subscribing to the Body of Art Show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn Radio and leave any comments there. I invite you to leave your review and ratings on iTunes as well. Don't forget to join me on my Facebook page, Holistic Art Coach Catherine Lucas, to let me know what you think about today's episode. And remember, you can always connect with me on my website, bodyofart.net. That's spelled BODYOFART.net. Here you can find all of my previous episodes and opt in for my podcast sign up. That way every show will be sent directly to your inbox so that you don't have to go looking for it each time. Meanwhile, please stay tuned for the next episode where I'll give you tips on how to hack the comparison trap. Until next time, I want to leave you with this one masterpiece of insight by author Bob Goff. He states, "We won't be distracted by comparison if we're captivated with purpose." On that note, I empower you to take charge of your art and become the masterpiece that you are.
You've been listening to The Body of Art Show, hosted by Catherine Lucas. The Body of Art Show has been brought to you by Body of Art Enterprises Incorporated, your source for individualized art mentorship and coaching. Our mission is to educate and support aspiring artists to step into their own personal power and master their passion. To learn more, go to bodyofart.net.